We here at Bobchat like to think we help shape our nation's youth, but unless you want your children to grow up like us, we suggest only listening with other inebriated adults.
Listen, I've been drinking, okay?
Bob!
Bob! Bob!
Bob!
Bobby!
Bob!
It's Bobchat Baby.
And we're just sitting here cranking a few beers, hacking a couple darts, and shooting the shit, you know?
Alrighty, you know what that sound is, or maybe you don't know what that sound is or means at all, but it's another episode of Bobchat. I'm your host, Bino Barbarino, and I'm here today again with some two of our most favorite guests to have on the show. We got Griff Graff, G Baby in the house. Griffin.
Howdy.
What's up? Classy as always. I like it right to the point. And we got String, the StringBean. What's up?
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. So I think today we're going to get into some really deep stuff. We're going into the deepness of reality and what things actually mean.
Oh, that might be exaggerated.
Okay, that's your cue. We're going to talk Building 7, the Moscow bombing, Hollow Earth, the Nazi connection, the Nibiru Cataclysm. Is it Nibiru?
It's never, yeah.
Nibiru Cataclysm, the first female president, and psych, we got you. It's not Hillary. Fast and Furious, not the movies. We'll get to that. MK Ultra and Project Sunshine. The Project Sun. Now, before we actually talk about it, Griffin, I want people to understand how deep you got into the conspiracy theories yesterday.
Well, he's got a fucking tinfoil hat on.
He had a tinfoil hat on, but he literally messaged me last night, and he's like, I don't think I could do the podcast. I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like, we've been planning to do this for like a week, right? And he said, I'm in too deep, Bob. I'm in too deep. Right? What happened, Griffin? Tell us.
So I have been working all week, working hard, and I put off doing any research for the podcast.
You always like to come prepared. You always like to come prepared.
Until yesterday, and I like wrote down a bunch of stuff, copy and pasted a bunch of stuff off the internet, and then like left it in a document, and then like finished my work, made dinner, and then I smoked a bunch of weed. And then I sat back down in front of my computer, opened the document, and started reading through it. And like I was getting like heart palpitations. It was like
I'm in too deep.
Some of the
I'm
stuff
in too deep. Michelle Pfeiffer
Smoked
was
sativa, didn't you?
freaking me out. Yeah, it was
Smoked
freaking me
sativa.
out.
That's the problem there.
Yeah, it expanded your
Yeah.
mind. It didn't just lock you in your furniture.
See, I'm smoking indica.
Indica.
But in the morning, I looked at it again, and I was like, oh, it's fucked up, but it's not. It's I'm okay.
Okay, I'm excited. Let's hope we don't give you any like crazy
No more. I didn't smoke
conspiracy
weed.
theory.
I'm talking
panic.
about fucked up. Is that fucking cruise ship? They're not the cruise ship. The container ship. That's
Okay, we can talk about that another
Yeah.
time.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's-
Conspiracies. Let's go.
Okay, pass me the joint first.
Fuck off.
Come on, I gave you that.
Well, let's hope you roll some.
This is Alan's homegrown. He gave me a whole bunch, and
Island's homegrown integrity farm.
integrity. Can you pass me the ashtray? So
Can't handle the
basically,
ashtray.
so basically, I'll just do a little quick thing, then we'll get right into the conspiracy theories. You guys know in movies when like you see people like they go to a rich person's house and it's just like there's bowls of cocaine on tables. Right,
Yeah.
I was like, well, I want to do that, but I can't afford that much cocaine, or no, I don't really want that much cocaine. I mean, well, everybody wants that much cocaine, but the point is that I rolled up a bunch of joints. Like I had like all this outdoor, so I rolled up like a jar full of joints. Now when you come over, I can offer you a joint and a beer.
Yeah, tech guy's been waiting for this forever.
Yeah.
And he fucked off.
And he fucked off,
before
yeah.
He even did it.
Because every time he comes over here, he's like, roll me a joint. He just throws it at me. It's like, it's only, and I know it's because he knows I'm a better joint roller, so I don't take any offense
Yeah,
to
yours
it.
don't canoe.
Yeah, right? Never.
That's a high compliment.
Yeah.
No pun intended. Anyways, okay.
Yes, yes.
So the first conspiracy theory we're going to kick off here on Bobchat episode 25 is Building 7. Tell me about Building 7. What do we got on this?
I'm curious to know what you know of it.
I'm aware, okay, if to my understanding, Building 7 was a building adjacent to the World Trade Centers, and it ultimately collapsed as well. Is that correct?
Bro, it's not like
It's not
it was on the World Trade Center grounds. It wasn't directly attached to them, but it
Yeah,
fell
so-
on the day.
Okay, so did it fall before the actual Trade Center fell? Did it crush it?
After.
Was it because of debris crushing
okay,
it?
so here-
That's what this story is.
Yeah.
Okay, so fill us in, Griffin. Tell us.
So to start it off with, let's figure out like what that building was. Like what was in that building.
What was that building?
So the main occupant of the building was the Salmon Brothers Bank, but on floors 9 and 10 was the U.S. Secret Service.
Oh,
and then
shit.
3 floors above that was
It's not so secret if everyone knows about it.
Well, so again, Secret Service, right? Like, because the Secret Service, they have 2 main purposes. First purpose is to protect the president, but the second purpose, which most people don't know about, though. Yeah, but their other purpose.
Okay, what's the other purpose?
Is basically like protecting U.S. currency, like against counterfeiting and that kind of thing.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, like there's way more Secret Service agents doing that than protecting the president.
Now, correct me if
What's
I'm
that
wrong.
Clint Eastwood movie that they do that in The Line of Fire? Yeah, in The Line of Fire, yeah. Before he's guarding the president after the president gets shot.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but fun historical fact, Abraham Lincoln was the first one to install the Secret Service. Is that correct?
He was the one to make the Secret Service
the president's bodyguard.
So before that, it was just going after currency.
Okay, so the Secret Service was pre-established before it was given the responsibility of protecting the president.
Yeah, that wasn't called the Secret Service.
Oh, you learn something every day. Welcome back to Bob
you
Chat.
do.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice, StringBean. Okay, anyways. Okay.
So
got me on that one.
So above the Secret Service portion of the building was the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission.
Okay, that makes sense because they're protecting the money.
And then there was also a New York Times article that reported that there was a secret office operated by the CIA dedicated to spying and recruiting foreign diplomats based at the United Nations.
Really?
Wow. And apparently the station's loss caused serious disruptions in intelligence operations.
See, that doesn't surprise me in the slightest because I was reading, actually, about researching this episode, but there was a KGB agent who defected, and he said him and a few spies that we had all said that, I can't remember which British Prime Minister it was, but one of them was an actual KGB agent who made it to be
Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Lady.
It was before Thatcher. It was one of the men. I can't remember what his name was. But,
Neville Chamberlain.
No, not that early.
Okay, so
wouldn't surprise me. That's me. Bent over to Hitler.
Yeah, right.
So,
pays for our time.
Yeah, pays for our time. Bullshit.
There's 2 groups.
2 weeks later.
2 weeks later. Yeah.
That are relevant to the to this whole story.
Okay, so what is the grounds for the conspiracy of this?
This gets into that, but these two, you need to know who these 2 groups are first.
Okay.
So the first group is AE 911T, which stands for Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth.
Really?
And the NIST, which is the National Institute of Standards and Technology, which is the ones that so basically they did an investigation.
Yeah.
They have a video on YouTube actually where they show their investigation, and it's like this janky looking computer model, and they're like, it's the most advanced computer model ever made.
Is it mining Bitcoin or what?
Well, it's kind of crazy. Like, even that NIST video on YouTube has 10,000, or I can't remember the exact ratio, but it had much more dislikes than likes.
Yeah, for
sure. So there's a lot of skeptical people.
What's the second group?
The second group is the Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth.
Okay. I want to know the ground. Like, what are the grounds for the conspiracy?
So what the NIST is saying, so the U.S. government is saying, is that some debris from the plane that hit the World Trade Center
fell into
the building and started a fire, right? And there's like video of that, so you can't really argue that, right? That it started a fire. But what all these architects and engineers, and there's 3,000 of them, like that's a lot of architects and engineers to all say something is wrong and not, or is bogus, right?
Like, I mean, I think that's one of the oldest 9/11 conspiracies there is, though, is that the structural integrity of the buildings would withstand the heat of the fire, like even the jet fuel burning, right? So for a single piece of debris to fall in another building and totally light it on fire.
So they say,
like the buildings are obviously meant to withstand a certain level of damage.
Yeah. Well, and like with the other 2 buildings too, like the main story is that the planes hit and then it started a fire that got so hot that it melted the support structures, and then that's what caused the building to collapse in that like way that looks like a controlled demolition. Like
Jet fuel Stein doesn't commit suicide.
Anyways, yeah, okay. So the theory is on that ultimately the Secret Service or the CIA or the U.S. government.
I don't even really want to get into. So there's an entirely separate conspiracy that's basically saying that the U.S. government basically did it to their own country, like false flag and all that. I don't have any evidence or information that would confirm or deny that.
I got a working theory that it's that and what they're actually saying. Like, they got wind there was an attack going to happen, and they're like, "Fuck, I could really use a reason to go get a whole bunch of oil from the Middle East."
Like Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So instead of shutting the radar off, though, they just went.
Don't tell me
like,
you guys
"Hey,
think
we
Pearl
can-"
Harbor is a conspiracy about
Are
the
you fucking kidding me? There's
And
no
that's
way
that's
wasn't.
a confirmed
So the
conspiracy.
U.S. government intentionally left their fleet at Pearl Harbor?
Yes.
They knew it was
Why
going to
do you
happen
think none
before.
of the carriers were there?
That makes sense. Yeah, but okay.
Get rid of the fucking battleships. They're gonna slow the fucking carriers down. We don't need them right off the bat. Ideally, we'd have more aircraft carriers than we do right now.
Oh my God, we're ready. Okay,
We need something to happen. What? How do you get America to go to war? You fuck with their boats.
Well,
Yeah, pretty
and
much.
Revolution, War of 1812, Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam. Fuck, you can keep going. Operation Praying Mantis. Fuck.
Yeah, fuck your tea.
I wasn't even going to talk
throwing
about
in the
talk about this yet, but there's also the the Gulf of Tonkin incident,
Vietnam's.
right? And so like that's I have a few conspiracies here that are like confirmed.
So now
true.
what? Now what is?
And
So the
that's
Gulf
one of
of Tonkin is like what? It was like an instigated attack.
They blew their own boat up.
That's
and
what I'm
blamed
saying.
it on
Yes,
the
that's what I'm saying. That's
North
what I was saying.
Vietnamese. Yeah.
It was they attacked themselves to. It's like when Hitler in 1943 when he invaded Poland, he went across the Polish border, killed a bunch of his own guys, dressed them in Polish uniforms, and used that as his instigation to invade.
Or when the Japanese did the exact same thing
Pearl
in
Harbor
Manchuria.
or Manchuria, yeah. Yeah, see, that's
Common tactic.
it's a terrible one, but if whatever.
I don't know. If it fucking works, use it.
I can see how people are people are easily ensnared by all these conspiracy theories.
Oh, well, fuck yeah. You get down
Yeah.
that rabbit hole. Boo!
Yeah, exactly. Griffin had a fucking panic attack last night. His heart was beating up his chest. It's like, Griffin, put your tinfoil hat on and just relax. You're gonna be fine.
Yeah, no. Seriously.
Griffin Jones.
Fuck with America's boats if you want to go to war with them. It's the best way to do it.
Okay, let's move on from Building 7. Okay, what I would really
We didn't even get into the like
No, we
nitty
didn't
gritty
even
of
talk
that.
about
we understand what they did.
No. That gets way deeper, Bob.
Okay, let's get deep into it. I understand what they did. Like, so what?
So
What did the conspiracy say? Like, how did they cause it to demolish?
So these aren't even really conspiracy theorists. They're not claiming.
They're
that
engineers.
They're a bunch of engineers,
They're educated people,
right?
Unlike
And so,
us.
Yeah, exactly. And so basically, they paid $300,000 of their own money to conduct a study, right? Like basically trying to show that the NIST study was bunk. And so they say the NIST made some fundamental errors in how engineers estimated the rigidity of the outside building frame, and the heat generated by the fire did not trigger thermal movements at a critical base plate support.
Like, who knows? It could have got hot enough in the
So
towers
it goes into that.
themselves.
They go into that too. So like McMaster University professor and emeritus, I think it's like a title of civil engineering. And another fellow Canadian from the Society of Civil Engineers, who is also one of the two peers that reviewed the UAS
Is this a Canadian study?
So there's a bunch of Canadians involved
Awesome.
in that group, that engineer group.
Yeah.
We produce a lot of smart people.
They say that there was nothing.
funny.
They say that there was
Yeah.
nothing in the
Good hockey
offices beyond basic desks, chairs, computers, and paper that would be of such a combustible nature as to feed the fire and raise the temperatures above 1400
Yeah, sorry, I
degrees
left my ton of
Celsius.
magnesium in the building. Is that going to be a problem? Oh, there's never been a fire here before.
See, that's what I was getting at earlier when I was saying that they got wind something was going on, because
Yeah.
there's this paint that you can roll on that's like, I can't remember what it's got. It's some kind of explosive in it,
Yeah.
and it'll burn
So
through
it gets
steel,
into that.
like thermite.
It gets into that.
Thermite.
Let me just get through this piece here, and then we can
Okay,
talk about it.
okay.
So another person that's critical
listening.
of the NIST study, it was an associate professor, Nanjing University of Science and Technology. He's now a bridge engineer for the South Carolina Department of Transportation.
Ooh.
They found that the design standards of the building was not exceeded by a fire, and that simultaneous and controlled demolition was the only explanation for the structural steel to fail. The study team undertook extensive computer and physical modeling.
So basically, they put the man hours in to disprove the fact that
Yeah.
that this fire from the debris could have ultimately brought the building down.
And this is where it gets to the predominant explanation of what actually happened. So
Okay.
they say many descriptions by individuals working on the World Trade Center rubble pile suggested the presence of molten steel in the pile and stream of molten metal that was poured out of the South Tower before it collapsed. It has been argued that the molten metal may have been elemental iron, a product of a thermite reaction.
Boom.
Researchers analyzed samples
Thermite.
This is where it gets crazy, though.
You say that literally after every sentence. It gets
keeps getting crazy. It's like
crazier.
your fucking drug dealer. He's like, man, that shit I had last week ain't got nothing on the shit this week.
It's crazy. Okay.
Like next week is gonna kill me.
Researchers analyzed samples of the dust from the World Trade Center buildings and reported their findings of evidence of nanothermite in the dust.
What? Nanotechnology. That's crazy. Nanotechnology is always exciting but scary at the same time.
They gave these findings to the NIST, and they responded by saying there was no clear chain of custody proving the dust indeed came from the World Trade Center sites. They invited NIST to conduct its own studies with the dust under complete custody of NIST itself, but NIST has not done so. And then the one last interesting aspect, BBC News reported the collapse of Building 7 20 minutes before it actually fell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Like the chick said it as the fucking building.
I've heard that
behind
before.
her.
I've heard.
seen the fucking video.
I know. I've
And
seen
now
it
the
too.
BBC does have an explanation for it, but like
What
a
is
lot
it?
of, I don't have it written down, but a lot of people have criticisms of their explanation.
Okay. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think yes? Conspiracy theory, yes?
So,
or
like-
conspiracy theory, no?
Yes.
I think it has enough. It's definitely has enough unanswered questions, and also the way that the NIST deals with the
What does
speculation.
NIST stand for? Just for
Na-
clarification.
Where's the
National-
black boxes?
National
Yeah.
Institute of Science and Technology. I believe.
Yes, NIST.
Where
Okay.
are the fucking black boxes?
Yeah, all those goddamn
They didn't
planes.
find
Planes
one.
are going down all the time.
4 fucking planes went down. They didn't find one of the
I
goddamn
know.
black boxes.
Okay,
fucking
so
kidding me?
so I think the
National Institute of Standards and Technology.
I think we're gonna give
we
that. We're gonna
divulged
give
way
that.
off World Trade Center 7 there and just brought up a whole bunch of
So
shit.
like,
We're gonna give that one a 3 tinfoil hat.
I don't know, because it.
Tinfoil hat. Tinfoil hat. That's a yes.
Yeah.
It's got to be more than
There's
3, though.
definitely
That's a
something
deep-
weird
oh,
there,
fucking
like-
deep
But
conspiracy.
if we think it's a tinfoil, if we think it's a conspiracy, it's a tinfoil hat. So that's our rating
Like,
system.
think about it. Like, how often, like, building fires happen all the time.
All
Where
the
there's
time.
fires in buildings.
All the time.
They never collapse like a controlled demolition.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
dunk to the ground.
Yeah, that's
straight
crazy.
down.
Okay, so that's definitely a conspiracy. That's getting 3 tinfoil hats from us.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, one thing they did argue that it was kind of for just like World Trade Center 7 specifically, not talking about the other two, but they're like, well, when the towers came down, it fucking fucked up the water line. So when the fire started in 7, there was no fire suppression inside, so then it burned out of control. But it's like, well, it still doesn't fucking burn hot enough to bring the goddamn building down.
All right, okay. Let's move on. Can we move on?
Yeah.
Okay, that was a good one. Okay, I really want to talk about the Hollow Earth because I feel like the next topic after that is quite there's a correlation to it. So let's talk about Hollow Earth. What do we know about Hollow Earth? What is this conspiracy theory?
So there are those who believe that our planet holds a dark secret, witnessed by few and guarded by governments. Our world is actually hollow, and another society of beings lives within.
That's Ferris Bueller's Day Off. There's nothing weird about that, but yeah, okay.
So this is how the proponents of this conspiracy theory
Right,
describe it. So they say
Keep talking in the sultry voice when you're reading
They
it.
say, imagine our planet to be like a bead. We live on the surface of the bead. The holes in the bead are the north and south poles. With the right transportation, one could travel straight through the bead.
As long as it's not native.
Inside, strange and wonderful things exist, some beyond our imagination.
Oh fuck yeah, that's cool. So
UFOs, like we were talking about last week,
yeah.
come from the inside of our planet.
Yeah, I heard that before because there's reported.
You know, I
there's-
saw Journey to the Center of the Earth with Brandon Fraser, and
Which
like,
is based off of this theory,
yeah, I know,
too.
and I gotta say the whole thing seems pretty far fetched.
Yeah.
Like they got T-Rexes down there, man. Like that's not the way bones work.
Yeah, no. Yeah, definitely. They
They
turned
don't
to
come
oil.
up.
Yeah, they're gonna turn to oil. It'll be fine.
Bob, Jesus Christ.
Not the
oil
bones.
isn't dinosaurs.
Whatever. That's
fucking way older.
that's a conspiracy.
No, it's way older. Oil is way older than dinosaurs.
Okay, so yeah, because I've heard that before. That there's reports of like planes like going to like certain areas in the North Pole, and it's like they've reported seeing this entrance to the center of the Earth.
That's the Nazi base in Antarctica.
Later on,
We're gonna get to that in a minute.
Later on, we get to that, and also to Admiral Byrd.
Okay, so can you to tell us what? So is that basically the?
There's a little more. So
Yeah.
So like with the UFO thing.
In the voice, Griffin. In the voice.
Okay. Just for you, Bob.
It's for the show. It's for the listeners. It's for you people.
The
at home.
UFOs are vehicles piloted by inner Earth inhabitants who make an occasional appearance on our turf. They come from places where mammoths still roam and glowing city lights flourish. The northern lights, if you didn't know, are in fact reflections of those city lights off of the atmosphere.
What? Okay, that's a little far-fetched.
Yeah.
So the only meat and potatoes to this conspiracy is Admiral E.
It's
Byrd.
the way you read it.
But you guys, have you guys ever heard of Admiral Byrd?
No. Tell us.
I'm familiar.
So he's a U.S. Navy officer and navigation expert. In 1926, he completed the first ever flight over the North Pole. He's one of those like old school adventurer guys that was like,
Tally ho, chaps.
Yeah.
My daddy had that
He was
accent.
American. He was American, but like
Tally ho, chaps.
he was of that ilk of guys that were like explorers trying to
Yeah.
go out and go to the
And
last
I
frontiers.
think this is one of the stories that I had heard about this guy.
He
his
completed
encounter.
the first
That's why I
ever
know.
flight over the North Pole,
Yeah.
one of the first ever transatlantic flights. He became the first pilot to fly South Pole and then back to from the North Pole to the South Pole and back.
He never went through the bead though.
He went on to visit. So this is where it gets into the interesting part. So
Come on, that was funny.
he went to visit Antarctica several more times, and then on one time in 1947, the expedition that set his name in stone with the Hollow Earth believers, he landed his craft. So this is from his diary.
Okay,
right?
okay.
So he says he landed his craft and spoke with representatives of the city of Agartha, who reprimanded him for humanity's recent invention of the atomic bomb.
Oh, what?
And then
How are they aware? They're in the middle of the Earth.
Because they found
they're more advanced, Bob, and they got the UFOs.
Oh, because that's it's T-Rexes.
So he says he was sent on his way with instructions to bring his message back to the surface people. So, like, if any random...
Is that what they call us?
I guess. But so, like, any random...
Surface people.
Surface people.
But the reason that he has credibility, right? Because, like, most people, if you just come out with some, like, crackpot conspiracy theory, they're just going to be like, why should we believe you?
Now, what about that?
Hashtag surface people first.
Yeah. But with him, he had credibility because he was this big... He was famous, right? He had no motivation to make this up.
So
Okay, now let me ask you-
hang on, let me ask a question first. Okay. So you're saying we need to nuke the center of the Earth?
No, that
I
was
saw a movie about that. It was The Core. Very different from what you're telling me. It looks like.
Yeah, that was a great fucking movie. Bruce
not.
Willis. I liked it.
Bruce Willis wasn't in that fucking movie.
Oh, he's Armageddon. That's Armageddon.
Yeah, and that movie is like, what the fuck?
Who's in the core?
That movie doesn't make any goddamn... Aaron Eckhart.
Aaron Eckhart. That's who it is.
Somebody else.
He's the scientist.
Is that the one where they got the drill and they're, like, going down?
Yeah,
like,
and
Yeah, they
they
got like the laser cutter.
I watched that in
they've got, like, the
geography class in high school.
They got like the caterpillar like ship to go down.
Yeah, like all segmented and
Yeah.
shit. Like if they took like 5 nukes for some reason.
Okay. Anyways. Okay.
Yeah,
so
we got
let's
divulged
move
again.
on. So no, we can't launch a nuke under in the Earth's core. That's
Why
a
not?
because it's a bad idea.
How's it a bad idea?
Because it could cause the tectonic plates to shift. It could cause who knows what else. Do you want a Pangea? That's how you get a Pangea.
I mean, I'm not against the idea.
A whole lot of Pangeas.
That's where all the megafauna came from.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Aaron Eckhart.
okay.
Aaron Eckhart.
So this is what the Hollow Earth proponents cite as the evidence that this theory is totally
No,
legit.
actually, sorry. I remember the question I wanted to ask you. Okay, so who was this? What was his name again?
Admiral Byrd.
So was he like he was part of like the royal
He was a U.S. Navy general.
Navy general? Okay, because I thought he was
Admiral.
Admiral.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay,
Yeah,
so he
that's a
does
big
have some
fuck up.
credibility. Like if he was just like a rich philanthropist,
And
that was
also-
like, I'm gonna travel to North.
Well, he's also like the first person to like fly over the North Pole. He's like the first guy to do a lot of big,
Okay.
like exploratory.
Okay.
Okay. So,
okay.
but
Admiral.
the people that subscribe to this theory nowadays, this is some of the stuff they cite as evidence. So they say the Hollow Earth theory frequently cites NASA photographs and video as proof of their cause. Many photos from space do show anomalous formations at the poles. Most can be explained away by science, but a few remain controversial.
What? Because I feel like most things can be explained by science. Like if people don't believe in science, like you're just dumb.
Yeah, but a lot can be unexplained.
Well,
by
and
science.
the thing is,
true.
once we get into the MK Ultra stuff, that really kind of makes it seem that like there's people that like at the time they were accepted scientists, but they're doing some kooky ass shit.
Okay,
so
okay.
simulation theory.
So do we have any more as far as the conspiracy theory of Hollow Earth goes?
So there's the Nazi connection.
That's what we're going to talk about, those fucking Nazi bastards.
They got so much shit going on.
Tech guy
man.
asks us every time, because, like, okay, maybe, like, for, like, 3 or 4 episodes, we were talking about Nazis, obviously all in a bad way. And it just because we like history. And he's like, did you guys talk about Nazis? Every time. You know, so
Yeah,
here
it's
you
like-
go. Here you go, tech guy.
It's funny because the last
Just
one I
for
was
you.
like, no, we didn't, and then I thought about it, and we talked about could the RAF beat the Luftwaffe, and I was like, God damn it! And I guess we were
God
talking
damn
about
it.
So
Sorry.
I want to
This is for you, tech guy.
I want to set the stage here. Right?
Set
So there's a
this-
short
set-
little excerpt.
Germany,
So
1933.
so this ties into the Hollow Earth theory, right? So okay, ready?
Adolf Hitler just became chancellor.
The Allies
He's
are
a
closing
dick.
in. Berlin is crumbling under the weighted impact of hundreds of Allied bombs. I feel like I should read it like, deep in his fortified bunker, Adolf Hitler, once unshakable in his confidence, in Nazi world domination, now admits that defeat is at hand. But Hitler is determined to never suffer the humiliation of being captured by his enemies. There is only one escape route, one he has planned for should he ever face such a turn of events.
This has been a very special broadcast brought to you by the BBC, the Bobchat. Okay, sorry. Fuck. I just want to do the old timey voice. It's fun. The old timey radio voice is fun.
You can just do it whenever you want.
Yeah.
Suicide is out of the question. Instead, Hitler and his corps of elite traverse through an underground tunnel to an isolated airstrip, where they board an unmarked plane and fly south to the pole, to the opening of the South Pole, where they will enter the Hollow Earth and disappear from history.
That was the best, Griffin.
That was amazing.
Okay, so the conspiracy is that Hitler dipped the bunker in Berlin, and he somehow managed to board a plane to go to the South Pole, and he then proceeded to live in the center of the Earth.
With the people that live in it. And so this is adjacent to just the general conspiracy
Well, I
that
don't.
Hitler
What,
didn't
what are
die.
they, what's the
and
city
escape.
called? The Agutha.
There's a bunch of cities.
So,
apparently,
well, if the
but-
Aguthians are Nazi sympathizers, I don't think we want to.
So
be
Everyone's
again,
gonna
it
have
gets
to
into that. It
maybe
gets into
Atlantis
that. It
is.
gets into that because apparently they're Aryans. The dudes that live in the Hollow Earth.
Oh, the
So-
first. Whatever. Okay.
So
okay, keep going.
so this is true. This part is true. So some of Hitler's top advisors and perhaps even Hitler himself,
Suggested he go to the North Pole.
believed that the Earth was hollow. This was a predominant theory in Germany at the time. As
Nazis are
StringBean
crazy.
mentioned earlier, there was at least one proven expedition by the Nazis to the South Pole, and there is like a building there that's like filled with like Nazi memorabilia. And
No,
shit.
I saw that. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it
so,
was a
like-
weather station.
So they did definitely go there, and at least some of them did believe this. So apparently, the Germans believe a slightly different version than the North American one.
the westernized.
They
version.
believed in the inverted Earth theory.
Okay.
And in the inverted Earth theory, our civilization actually exists on the inside of the globe.
What?
We're held fast to the ground not by gravity, but by the centrifugal force of the Earth as it rotates.
Well, in all fairness, though, we hadn't gone to space at that time. There really wasn't a possibility.
It gets crazier. So the stars.
Now that we've gone to space,
Well,
we
no,
can
but
totally
think about it, right?
disprove
So
that.
if we're on the inside of the planet, what the fuck is all the stars and everything, right? So they say the stars are twinkling chunks of ice suspended in the high air, and the illusions of day and night is caused by a rotating central sun that is half
It's an
brilliant, half
illusion.
dark.
It's an illusion.
So the sun is half light
No,
on
no,
one
yeah,
side,
I
and
get
then
it. It's
half
a
dark on
yin
the side.
yang sun. Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, and like to further add a little bit to the Antarctica Nazi theory, in 1946, Operation High Jump, the U.S. Navy sent.
I love a good U.S. Navy operation.
13 ships and 33 aircraft, and
Fuck yeah.
about 6,000 guys ballparking.
Is that when they found that station?
No, that's when they went down there to make a base, but they ended up losing 2 ships and a bunch of
Oh,
aircraft.
really?
Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I think Admiral Byrd was in charge of that.
I can
Full
look it up.
fucking circle. Yeah, we don't need tech guy. We do
Yeah,
mess. We
Rear
do mess him
Admiral
up.
Richard E. Byrd Jr.
Same guy.
What? Oh, the plot fucking thickens. We're in way too fucking deep,
also,
boys.
during that
We're in too
whole
deep.
operation, they cited seeing flying saucers.
What?
The sailors cited seeing flying saucers.
Really? That's crazy. Yeah. So now, okay, so let's just hold on. Let's go back to the conspiracy theory that Hitler evaded the Western Allies and didn't kill himself and somehow managed to get to not Argentina. Where did they go?
Antarctica.
No, but where was the
Argentina.
Argentina, yeah.
Brazil.
Mostly
Argentina.
So, that's where they got
there are like towns
one
like up in the mountains in like Argentina.
Yeah, where there's like straight up
Brazil,
Nazis.
Where
that's where they caught
like,
Alfred Eichmann in
but there's like villages up there where they're all walking around in fucking lederhosen. Everybody's a white German. They all speak German. Fucking there's not
all of the buildings, but all of the
crazy.
Buildings are even like Bavarian style buildings.
Yes. Okay, so now, but let's just do we believe that Hitler actually escaped, or do we believe that he killed himself?
Well, so they did DNA test on the fucking bone that the Russians had, and it's a female.
I would say yes. Well, it could have been Eva Braun. Anyways, so do we? Yeah.
No, fuck no. He didn't die. Obviously not still alive, but he didn't die.
So you guys think he escaped?
I don't know.
Well, there was a whole battalion of Russian soldiers that came over the ridge and saw a plane taking off, and they were like 200 yards from fucking Hitler's bunker, and they were all like, "Oh, that's fucking weird." None of them shot at it, and for whatever reason, and they all asked themselves later, like, "Why didn't any of us shoot at that?"
Okay. Here's the next question then. So I mean, it could be plausible that he did escape the bunker.
It's more likely that he escaped the bunker than that he went to the South Pole and then went to live with a race of people inside the Earth.
He definitely didn't live in the middle of the Earth. I'm gonna call a conspiracy on that.
Like I don't
tinfoil hats for that one.
See, my theory, he hops out of the bunker in whatever plane he takes, and he's only got like at most a 2,500 mile range on German aircraft, give or take. So you're gonna make it to maybe Spain. Hop on a fucking submarine in Spain, make it to Argentina.
Spain. No.
It's definitely possible. Definitely possible.
Sorry, Elvis.
The only problem with
that's
that
a song.
is
I've never been to Spain.
How do you get past the Allied air forces?
Okay, all right. Let's move on. Let's move on. So we've I think we've concluded that the Hollow Earth is definitely a conspiracy theory, right?
Well, I mean, these are all conspiracy theories. It's whether
I know,
or not
but is there any validity to that? I don't think so.
I would say
I'm calling tinfoil hat on
the
that
most. I find it like I don't believe it's, to me it's just as kooky as the flat Earth conspiracy theory. It's like two sides of the same coin. But I
hope Sean's listening because he's a flat earther and it drives me fucking nuts.
What? The interesting
Sean is. Yeah.
The interesting part about it to me is the Admiral Byrd stuff because he's a very reputable guy.
Clearly, like we started talking about a randomly different thing, and he was somehow involved in leading it.
And so, like that part of it to me is just very strange. Like there doesn't seem to be a good explanation for that. But like, I don't think the Earth is hollow. I think that's.
I don't think there's hollow. I don't think there's flat. I think the Earth is round, and I think that's we have credible proof of that.
Well, it's still round if it's hollow.
You ever been on a plane? Yeah, I've been on a plane. Anyways, okay. The Earth is not flat. Like those people are crazy. Sorry, Sean, but I mean, fuck. Come on. What is this, 1500? Even Galileo knew the Earth was round.
Yeah, but he got, like, people were getting burned for that shit back then.
Yeah, they were. I hope that's actually right. I don't know. I just pulled that out of the memory bank. Or maybe he believed it was maybe
Galileo is the one that figured out gravity.
No, that was Sir Isaac Newton figured out gravity.
Right, yeah.
Jesus, Griffin.
Yeah, no, he was the astronomer. You're right.
Yeah, Galileo. Yeah, I want to talk about the Nibiru.
Nibiru. Planet 12.
What's an alien? What's aliens sound like?
Like language-wise?
Yeah.
Well, depending, but probably something like.
That's pretty good. I like that. You know what? You want to hear my alien voice? He's been chosen.
Stranger from the outside.
Can we just take a quick second to appreciate that Toy Story? Basically, we lived out an entire generation's lives. Yeah. You know, came out when you were a kid. When you were done high school. Andy was done high school.
Right.
Like we literally lived the trials and tribulations of our lives through Toy Story. And if you can't appreciate that, then I don't know if there's any hope for you at all. Toy Story, what's up?
Meh.
Wow. Okay, whatever. Wow. Hey, here's something funny. One of the toys was to die, Like all the other ones would just have to constantly be around its corpse and pretend like it wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't think they die though, because like think about
They
Sid.
could.
He was just bashing random toy parts together and they were alive.
Conspiracy.
Well, that's a conspiracy as much as it's a fucked up thought.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so what is a Nibiru? Nibiru Cataclysm.
So Nibiru is the name of a celestial body.
Can you read it in a cool voice?
Which voice?
Whatever one you want.
Nibiru is a celestial being.
That's a good, I like that one.
StringBean read it. Let StringBean read it. All right, let's call us about the Nibiru, StringBean.
Nibiru is the name of a celestial it's harder to read than just go off memory for some reason. Anyway, hang on, let me try again.
Oh, Griffin's gonna be useless now. He just smoked weed.
Dead air.
Two puffs.
Two puffs. Okay, so tell us what the Nibiru Cataclysm is.
Nibiru is the name of a celestial body of the Babylonian mythology. Ooh. According to their mythology, Nibiru was a mighty celestial object associated with the god Marduk. In the last couple of decades, it has been proposed that Nibiru is a planet orbiting our sun beyond Neptune, which crosses the orbits of the rest of the planets. Caltech astronomers Mike Brown and
Caltech.
Constantin Batygin, made an explosive claim in 2016. Based on the orbital motion of the objects in the Kuiper Belt, a region beyond Neptune that is home to Pluto and other icy bodies. From there, a very big something much farther out, hidden save for its subtle gentle gravitational tugs on the rest of the solar system, an invisible planet. So anyway, what the thing is, it's a big ass planet.
What does it mean? That was amazing.
It's
by
a
the way.
big ass planet.
I'm reading the next one.
Okay, it's a big ass planet that it cuts through the rest of the things, and it was supposed to happen in 2012, but I think it's going to be 2021 because it was a dyslexic
Okay, slow down for a
calendar.
second. Slow down for a second. Okay, so the planet is what?
It's a huge planet called Nibiru, and it comes by every 400.
Where does it pass through? Where does it pass through?
All the orbits are there. This comes around.
It's so far out.
It's on an oval.
That it's like going around.
But it's obviously it's revolving the sun.
Yeah.
Though.
So, but it's on like a comet-like orbit as opposed to a planet-like.
So how far out past, say, Pluto is this?
Well, it moves constantly. Like it goes out past Pluto. It comes across all the rest of the planet's lanes.
And it's never crashed into another planet.
Apparently,
it hasn't hit any, but it's fucked with us a couple times.
It's in the same region as Pluto.
How did it fuck with us?
Because the gravity on it's so strong that it reverses our poles.
What? What about the people that are living there?
Well, there was no people the last 5 times it's happened.
Yeah.
So the Caltech astronomers say that they...
Well, I think 400 and something thousand years.
They say that there must be a very big something much further out, hidden to save for its subtle gravitational tugs on the rest of the solar system. So apparently the actual conspiracy goes way back to Babylonian texts, the Bible, old ancient texts. This Caltech discovery is the closest thing to confirming it, because they're saying that they can see that there is a huge gravitational body by the effects that it's having on other celestial bodies in the same area.
Okay. So now what's the conspiracy? Is that it's affecting us?
No. So the conspiracy,
because it sounds pretty plausible at this point. It's this planet out past Pluto. Is a conspiracy that it's inhabitable?
So the planet is much more likely to exist than the conspiracy. So the conspiracy is that, they say that there was a disastrous collision between Earth and the massive planet 400,000 years ago.
Million.
400 million?
400,000 is what they're saying, because they're saying that's when the Anunnaki, which are the aliens, they're saying that's when they're basically it's ties into the ancient alien theory, that they say that they were mining minerals in Africa, and that they came across prehistoric humans and then modified their DNA, and that our evolution is directly attributed to these Anunnaki aliens.
Yeah, or a representation of themselves, but on probably a lesser scale.
Yes and no, we're them mixed with the chimp.
Okay. Yeah.
One thing I noticed...
So the chimps were here already?
Yeah, that's why they're still chimps. And then because like there was like
Because if you look at
like,
if you look at
I know-
chimps, like they're very similar to like.
I know, but if
There's
you
only
go,
like
if-
2% difference in DNA.
Yeah, that's
between, like,
crazy.
Yeah, but if you
species
go
and
back
humans.
to like when there's like Neanderthals, there's like Neanderthals, Homo erectus,
Cro-Magnons.
Cro-Magnons, Homo habilis, fucking.
Now, wasn't
the pygmy ones, the short ones?
Fuck, there's like 15 or 20.
and we
different-
talked about that last time about that they found those bones in the cave in Russia that like totally like
Change everything.
changed everything
Yeah.
because it was like now there's this cross species between the Neanderthals and
Well,
the
that's
Homo
it, right?
erectus.
So
yeah.
they came and they mixed their DNA with chimps, and then they fucked off for a little bit, and they came back and they were like, "Oh, these ones are the best," and then they fucking killed off the rest, and then they just let us.
Yeah,
go.
because you got to wonder how it was, but because I believe the scientific theory is that as we evolved into different species, they just became more intelligent and more profound than so the lesser ones just died off. Is that why?
Well,
Because you got to think how many Neanderthals were there? There must have been 100, and they were crossbreeding. What? Just all those specific
no,
ones?
the Neanderthals. The more issue was climate change.
Climate
'Cause
change.
and overhunting by us, but mostly climate change because.
So the Homo erectus used to hunt the Neanderthal.
No. Like we would hunt mammoths way more efficiently than they
Yeah.
would, and rhinos and shit like that.
So-
like Neanderthals were like twice our size. They
Yeah.
were fucking massive.
Yeah.
and they could
They were
take.
bigger, but weren't as smart.
Yeah, they were big enough they could take like a fucking headbutt from a fucking rhino or something like that. Like
That's
not a horn
crazy.
hit from it, but like a fucking side of the head swipe.
Yeah, and so be fine.
And like, well, that'd be fine, but they wouldn't be as fucked up.
They probably have a concussion.
Like
but
the concussion and
Nobody
be
even
winded.
knows what a
It's
concussion
like
is.
concussion and be winded, but we're fucking dead.
it's
right?
not instant death.
yeah. Okay.
So,
okay.
but then when a big body like that, you require more energy, and then
Yeah,
as the
yeah.
climate changed, then they're not sure if it was the ice coming down or the ice going back,
Okay.
because then
okay.
all the shit, like all the big game left, and it was all like rabbits and fucking deer and shit like that, and they weren't fast enough to catch it or smart enough to make traps or spears or shit like that. Like
And
they
then-
made spears to stab, they didn't make spears to
to
throw.
throw. Yeah. That's basically like the scientific explanation, right?
Which-
is that
yeah, because
they ultimately weren't as intelligent.
But it was more
able
to
to
do with
survive.
because of how big they were. Like they could beat 10 Homo sapiens in a fight, but
they were that much bigger.
well, they were like we were back then about like 5'7" on the high side, and
That's
like,
how tall I am.
yeah, and they were like taller than me, like 6'5", 6'6".
Okay,
and
so
like
they'd be massive.
240, 260. Like they were fucking huge and
Okay.
like thicker bones.
So you
like-
never realize, like when you see like the dioramas of them and stuff, you don't.
Yeah, they don't draw it right.
They wouldn't think that they were that big.
No, they don't draw it right at all.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a comparison picture.
Yeah,
that shows
it's
it
like
too.
the skull difference is like a gorilla and a
Okay.
chimpanzee.
The conspiracy is that they came to Earth. So there's an alien race living on this planet out past Pluto, and at some point, 400,000 years ago,
450,000.
450,000 years ago, they showed up, crashed their fucking planet into ours or just next to it, came down, put their DNA into monkeys, and that's basically the start
So,
of the
here's-
Homo sapien evolutionary track.
So
Arms race.
what they claim.
Huh?
Arms race.
Arms.
That's what it is.
Yeah, pretty
History
much.
is an arms race. Whole thing.
Okay, so that is, and then as far as the conspiracy pertains, they left, and now they're just floating out in the edge of our galaxy. What, waiting to come back?
So I've read
Probably.
two. I've read two. There's two different theories. There's the one that they're like more benevolent and that they're humanity's first gods. They basically created us. That their planet
I've
is
seen
home
this
of like
movie.
technologically advanced. They've got lots of technologically advanced stuff. The other theory is that they're like vampires, and they basically look at Earth as like a food source, and they hibernate for like thousands of years, and then when the planet comes close, they basically come down to like cull the population,
Oh, fuck.
leave just enough alive
fuck.
for us to repopulate, and then. There's one of the theories is that the Great Flood in the Bible was actually like them culling the
Oh my God,
population, and that
really?
only a few people were left, and that was like the whole Adam and Eve thing, like where humanity restarted, and that like
Wow.
we're coming up for our next culling, and they'll be back soon.
What's our next cull? Why is it called a culling?
That's like when you like
Just go and kill everybody?
control the population, but don't completely destroy it. Like if you cull deer,
Like a Thanos
it's like
snap?
it's killing just enough to maintain like the
Perfectly
ecological
balanced.
balance. Yeah,
Perfectly balanced.
but it's not
as
it's
all
not
things
like
should be.
genocide. It's like taking what they need but leaving enough for it to regrow.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, and that's crazy. So, and if they're going to be happy because there's like, what, 7 billion people living on
Yeah,
Earth
they're
right now?
gonna go, wow, fucking,
This is
you guys invented nukes, and then somehow your population just went.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck did that happen?
Well, we're not just gonna kill each other all the time anymore.
Huh, we got these things. We're not going to shoot them.
Yeah.
Lost their nerve.
Every army movie ever, there's always that anxious general. It's like, let's just nuke them.
I love that.
He's like, I've been waiting my whole goddamn career to say that.
It's like an evolution when Phil Dunphy's in it,
Yeah.
and he's like playing some colonel or something like that, and the general's like, "Yeah, we're gonna use napalm," and the guy's like, "Napalm? Why don't you just use nukes?" And he leans forward, he's like, "What about nukes?
You think we could? Really?
I think that's a good idea."
Congress will never go for it. Fuck.
No, not a chance.
I-
The president's on board, though.
This isn't really a conspiracy, but like I was reading about the program in the U.S. in the 1950s that they're basically trying to like figure out what they could use nukes for, and some of the proposals were so ridiculous, like using them to like blow up mountains so they could build roads through them.
Yeah, let's not forget about the radiation fallout.
Widen the Panama Canal.
They actually used them to do fracking, like gas fracking,
Yeah.
but then they found that it made the gas too radioactive. Surprise, surprise.
So, like, when you say that, you mean like under the ocean?
Under the ground.
Yeah.
They were just blowing nukes up underground to like release
Yeah.
shake up the gas, release it. But because like I think when they use water now,
Like, we don't have enough
fracking.
other explosives. Okay, do you guys want to get into the next one? I need the phone.
What's the next
Are you satisfied? What are we? How many tinfoil hats are we given the?
For the Nibiru? Fucking 3. That's totally a conspiracy theory, man. I don't believe that.
Yeah, I think that
I
there's.
don't know.
I think
I mean-
I've seen like I look at a lot of astrology stuff and like I think that there is like a legitimate chance of there being another.
Oh my god,
planet.
your stars are in line this month, you guys. That's so great.
Not astrology, Bob.
Yeah, Jupiter's in retrograde. I feel so good right now.
But I think that I would say there's
I don't know.
Like,
how to
it's kind of
react to that.
ridiculous. It's
well,
kind of
especially
ridiculous.
because like the people that made those star charts originally,
Yeah.
like it doesn't line up because like Earth moves, right? And so like the
Yeah, and what do they say?
none of
What do
the-
they say that the constellations like were not the same
Yeah,
as they were like a million
not even
years-
close.
Not even close.
So
right?
so how are you basing my daily horoscope off of something that's not even relevant to like where we are in the universe?
Now, let me
But-
ask a question though, because like obviously it would be millions of years for the constellations to change, obviously, because if you look at like ancient Greece and stuff, like a lot of their constellations like we can still find today, right? Like for the majority, like when did somebody say, hey, that's a Little Dipper? That's the determined name of that set of stars. Right? Does anyone know?
Hang on.
Well, it's
Look it
probably-
up.
Tech guy.
Yeah.
Like who decides that? Who says, "Oh, that what? No, that's
Yeah,
what
because
that's
people
what
would have
that's going to
seen
be."
it way
Yeah.
before someone decided to like
Name
identify
it
it. But
that, yeah.
like, it is really interesting how like
We're getting in fucking deep, yo.
especially ancient cultures. All
I gotta start buying crystals, man.
but like you gotta make sure to put them out on the windowsill at night so they get charged by the moon.
I saw a thing today about making moon water, and I was like so confused. I was like, "What is this?" And then I went to it, and it's like, how to make moon water, and then it was like telling you like what to do if you're gonna drink it or use it for whatever, and then it's like, here's a list of things you can do with moon water, and I'm like, wow, it sounds like I could do all those things with just regular water as well. Like, it seems like a lot of work.
To finish off the Nibiru
Oh,
stuff,
all right, whatever.
I would say
People are gonna-
So this says the first thing I found says 1930.
1930s when they first
Like
established.
that's when it was like
the Little Dipper.
the name's boundaries were officially assigned to the 88 constellations by the International Astronomical Union in 1930, providing complete coverage of the entire sky.
Yeah, so like when it was in ancient times, like they would be like animals, or like, because if you look at like Orion is the hunter, right? Like they still tried to keep it a little bit relevant to what was known before, but it was never really established worldwide.
Well, and if you-
like somebody in fucking France knows what the Little Dipper is, like there's not a different name for
They
it.
just call it the like
astrological
fleur de
divisions.
croissant.
400 BC.
Was when it was the first documented time, or the first historical moment when
That's-
people documented the constellations.
Yeah,
That's
that's
cool.
when they become prominent. Is 400 BC in Babylonia and Chaldean.
Okay, let's get into the next one. Give me the phone. I'm gonna do it. Here we say, I'm going to do it in this voice. Do you guys enjoy this voice?
Which one are we doing next?
I
The
would like-
Moscow
so-
bombings.
No,
So the-
I would like to do
Hang on,
the
hang on,
first
hang on. Before you're
female
doing,
president.
Before you're doing that, The Lacal caves in southern France, like the cave paintings, right?
Yeah.
Super old ones.
They're not allowing people in anymore
they
because the oxid or the CO2 levels wreck the paintings.
They depict Taurus, Orion's belt, and the Pleiades.
Yeah, I saw that. That's cool.
Mesopotamia, 3000 BC. They
Well, yeah. So I think it's safe to say that arguably the constellations don't change that often, but we know that they eventually, in a certain amount of time,
it shifts enough that there was there's a new, now where we are in the universe, there's a new not constellation, but you know how there's the zodiac with all the different ones.
Yeah.
There's an entirely new one that didn't exist when they made the initial zodiac. I forget what it's called.
Well, and also too, you got to think that our technology and our ability to process what we can look at in the sky is pretty crazy now. I saw a thing the other day. It was here's a picture of Pluto in 1987, and then here's one in 1996. Here's one today. It was and they just progressively got way better.
If you think of it, astrology.
We're getting 4K from Mars, bro.
Think about this.
We got 4K on Mars, yo.
Think about this, Bob. Astrology is basically the most widely accepted conspiracy theory, right?
Yeah,
There's no backing to it. There's no.
You don't hear
I'd argue it's Christianity, but
yeah. Well, it's
without it being a religion,
because
right?
without
it being
it's
nobody ever argues astrology. People are like, "Oh, what's my you don't want to know your horoscope?" Everybody does. It's all bullshit. Maybe that's gonna piss people off, but whatever.
Stars that gave their fucking.
We're not gonna be
light off
censored
fucking-
anymore. If you
How
find
many-
that offensive, I
How
apologize.
many
but
million years ago did that starlight get made? What the fuck's that helping
Yeah.
with today?
Exactly. Okay. Well, we'll just quickly touch on the other ones. Let me do. I want to do the next one. Give me the phone.
Which one are we doing? Then?
I want to do
Which
the.
one are we
I want
doing?
to do the first female president. Now we will discuss the first female president. A stroke rendered United States President Woodrow Wilson incapable of governing, and his wife
surreptitiously.
Yeah. A stroke rendered United States President Woodrow Wilson incapable of governing, and his surreptitiously, I can't say that word, stepped in. The truth, Wilson did not suffer from a debilitating stroke towards the end of his presidency, but the government felt it was in the country's best interest to keep things quiet. Shh, don't tell anyone. The public didn't learn about the stroke for months, during which time his wife, Edith Wilson, was making most of the executive decisions. Is that true?
Apparently.
So when did the stroke happen?
Towards the end of his presidency.
Does it say what year, though?
It did not say, but that's okay. Well,
When did he get out of office?
Woodrow Wilson? He would have been World War One, right?
Yeah, no, but when did he get out of office? Was it 18?
I don't. Well, you look it up. You got a phone.
Well, yeah, but
You're a tech guy. You're filling tech guy.
what? Fuck. Why the hell did tech guy?
Because you keep saying, I know, I miss him too. Okay. Despite Mrs. Wilson's claiming that she was acting only as a steward for the stroke-ridden president, historians who have analyzed the Wilson term in office confirm that, well, for over a year, Mrs. Wilson was effectively the president of the United States.
He was president March 4th, 1913 to the 4th
That's
of
crazy. So what do you
1921.
guys think? Conspiracy or not conspiracy?
So it's confirmed. It did happen.
That's crazy. So he was just so what? He just made no public
So,
appearances for
I'm
a
gonna
year?
make a comparison. So remember which was the president that had polio?
Roosevelt.
Roosevelt. So you know how the media kept that quiet. You
Yeah.
had the secret tunnel and all
Yeah.
that. So it's a very common for them to try and hide the fact if there's any Joe Biden fell down some stairs last week. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Did I see that?
Everybody in the world.
So it's
saw that.
very important to them to maintain the image of the president as being virile and healthy. Right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, it makes a lot of sense to me that they would keep that quiet for one.
Oh, for sure.
And then it's confirmed that she was the one basically making the executive decisions, and he would just sickly sign the stuff. So and she kind of downplays it, when people interviewed her, right?
Yeah.
She downplays it, but the historians say that nah, she was effectively, for all intents and purposes, the president of the United States.
That's
for a year,
crazy.
which is really cool, interesting.
Yeah, it's, yeah.
I
So what do
can't-
we? So what do we
Wilson
think?
had intended to seek a third term in office, but suffered a severe stroke in October 1919 that left him incapacitated for the remainder of his presidency, which was until March of 1921.
Okay, so he was only really So it was what? How many months? Was she then the?
That's a year. October 1919 to March 1921.
Oh wow. Okay, so a lot of time. So at least like a year,
At
a
least
year
a
and
solid
5 months.
year.
Year and 5
Yeah.
months. A year and 5 months. Right. January, February, March, and then October's the 10th month. Math. I'm a scientist.
Yeah, but then you got to go to March the next year.
Yeah, I added
But
that.
I'd never heard of that
Anyways,
until yesterday.
okay, so what I think that's gonna get that's not getting a tinfoil hat from me. Then I think that's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's.
Are we all decided?
I'm reading it on Wikipedia. They,
Oh, that's always the truth. Right? I heard that on Joe's Brogan. Do you guys ever?
Full disclosure, I got like half of the information I have here from Wikipedia.
You want a fun fact about Woodrow Wilson?
Quickly, yes.
If it wasn't for him, the
Yeah.
world would be so much different right now if he lost that election.
YouTube that video. It's a good video. That could be a whole episode. You just telling us why. Let's not get into that.
I know, but like everything would be different because like if Teddy Roosevelt wins that election like he's fucking supposed to, and there's not two Republicans running, fucking America gets into World War One.
America,
right when it starts.
Yeah.
Germany gets beat. Russia never goes communist because the White Army can
Cold
crush
War
the Red
never
Army because
happens.
they haven't been going on.
No Cold
Nazis
War.
never rise because they aren't given the fucking debilitating fucking Treaty of Versailles because they just got overwhelmed so fast and never even dug in for
Yeah,
trenches.
so they would still.
Because think about it, in World War One, by the time the Americans got there, the Russians had surrendered.
Yeah, the Russians were already out.
Like the Russians were fighting themselves. by
Yeah,
that
they were in
point.
the Russian Revolution, 1917.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen Man in the High Castle?
Yeah, super
Yes.
good. I watched all of it on your recommendation. I gotta tell you, I wasn't disappointed.
No, it's
not
good.
even a little bit.
I
So
gotta watch
good.
the newest season still. I'm
Oh,
like
you
one
haven't wa-
se-
oh,
I'm
you
one
haven't
season
finished
back.
it?
Yeah, I gotta watch the newest one.
It was a very short and abrupt end, and I felt like they could have really elaborated more on some of the other characters going abouts. It ended really abruptly.
I love that show, but I hate the main character. Can't stand the what's her name?
Juliana?
Juliana.
Okay, let's move on. Let's do the next one. Okay,
That's the next one.
Fast and Furious. What is that?
Okay, so
Not the movies.
they there's like a big theory on it is the ATF. Somebody in I think it was Texas or Arizona or New Mexico. I can't remember.
One of those.
But,
One of the southern states.
somebody
that closes the
somebody
border of
alerted
Mexico.
them that they had like 2,000 rifles were purchased or something like that.
What?
And like machine guns and shit. But then
I
eventually,
think even like
1,400 of them turned up in Mexico. And so-
Wow.
well, that's it, right? So there was a big congressional hearing about it and everything like that, and the ATF was like backpedaling and trying to cover their tracks because they were like, everybody was like, well, how the fuck did you let them get out of the country? Like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
yada yada. And then they it ended up being they were involved in like the direct handling of the whole operation, like approving. Okay, let them buy it. Let's see where they end up and shit.
Awesome. So what do you guys think?
well, it happened. Like they acknowledged that it happened.
Okay, so that's so we think that's
I guess the conspiracy is that they did it on purpose for some reason, right? Like that they gave
Yeah.
the cartel the guns, knowing that they wouldn't be able to get them back, and not caring for some reason.
okay.
it's a
So,
border-
Like they wanted the war on drugs to be
a border
worse.
patrol agent got killed.
and
with
they
one of
gave the
guns.
Mexican cartel guns.
Yeah.
That's basically so. That's a conspiracy theory that the CIA,
The
ATF.
ATF.
the ATF, is funding the Mexican cartel via firearms. Right?
Well, the CIA's buying other crack, so
So how they
It's
found them was like you know what a straw purchase is, right? So a straw purchase, yeah. But they basically were like people that were working on behalf of the drug cartels would go in and buy guns, pretending they were for them, and then like funnel them down to the drug cartels. And actually, that's why it's called Fast and Furious. They found out that a lot of the
movies.
guys,
It's a
well, a
movies.
lot of the guys that were doing these straw purchases, all were members of the same, like classic car club.
Well, it's all about family and Fast
So
and
that's right.
Furious.
That's
Everybody
how it became
knows that.
Fast and Furious.
Okay, so what do we think? Are we going to give that is that a conspiracy or not? No tinfoil hats?
Well, they did it. Like I said, the conspiracy is
If
why they did it.
Yeah, there's
why
no
they did
plausible.
it.
Is there plausible
So,
deniability? Probably
like,
not.
Like the idea is that they purposefully would release the guns, but record the serial numbers.
Always purposely
so that
releasing the guns.
When the guns got found at like crime scenes later,
Yeah.
they'd be able to like identify them. But it doesn't make a lot of sense because for one, if you're a like illicit Mexican drug cartel, you're gonna shave the serial numbers off.
Yeah,
right?
you're gonna shade the serial numbers off the pistols. Everybody knows
Now,
the pistolas.
that being said, they did find some of them at like these huge massacres of like hundreds of Mexican civilians. So like,
Yeah.
so they're like again, people are saying if they wouldn't have released those guns,
it's
then...
a plausible conspiracy theory. I'm gonna give it a tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
3 tinfoil hats. It's real. What's the next one? MK Ultra.
We got MK Ultra, Project Sunshine.
I just want to do those two. Let's just do those two.
And the Moscow bombings.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So the next conspiracy theory we're going to talk about is the MK Ultra. Okay. You got to
this one.
What voice are you going to do?
This one, just let me get through.
Do a voice. We've been reading every conspiracy theory in a voice. We've been doing a lot of fun ones.
I can keep going with my old timey news.
Do the old timey BBC radio voice. Yeah, do it.
Let me see. So this one has
It's
an
the best.
interesting Canadian connection, right?
Okay, do it. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like for those that don't know, before I get started on this, because it covers mostly the Canadian side of this, but the MK Ultra was a program started by the CIA for the purpose of developing mind control techniques.
Oh, yeah, like Jason Bourne. You got to do it in the voice.
I don't think it works for this. Just
try doing it.
It's okay. Lloyd Shirer's mother had a heart-wrenching medical report that is still hard for him to comprehend. She had her 30th last day of sleep on March.
Okay, yeah, do it in
it's too confusing.
The old-timey voice doesn't work.
It's too confusing. So basically, this man Lloyd, right? His mother was in the MK Ultra study, which was done at like a asylum, right, in Quebec.
Start from the beginning. Yeah,
Okay.
Because I couldn't really understand you in the old-timey radio voice.
Okay, so there's this is from the perspective of a man named Lloyd, whose mother was in the Canadian MK Ultra experiments. So this is from her medical report that he got through the Freedom of Information Act. She had her 30th and last day of sleep on March 24th.
What year?
No. So this is the 1960s, but
okay.
So they're saying that she had her last day of sleep. So she basically slept for 30 days. They kept her in a medically induced coma for 30 days. So it gets even crazier. So
Sherman, what do you think about that?
So this is again a quote. This is a quote from the Sun.
It's not unheard of.
Okay.
So it gets nuts. So this is a quote from the Sun. They gave her all the drugs, 4 or 5 barbiturates and amphetamines at a time.
What?
She received electroshock therapy, massive amounts of drugs, so-called psychiatric treatments that sound as if they were lifted from the pages of George Orwell's 1984.
What?
She was a patient at Montreal's Allen Memorial Institute in the 1960s. She had gone there to seek treatment for anxiety or postpartum depression. So this lady is literally going in just to get some regular psychiatric treatment,
medical help,
and they subject her to electroshock therapy, massive amounts of drugs, and even worse shit. We get into that.
Okay, so now who is this? So what? So this is a conspiracy theory this is being financed by the government.
Okay, so So it gets nuts.
Okay.
So the guy running all of this
crazy.
is a psychiatrist named Dr. Ewan Cameron, right? So this is the main guy that's controlling all this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's all part of the CIA brainwashing operation codenamed MK Ultra. What a
brainwash.
Can I just say what a badass name, MK Ultra.
Yeah. I call it as a band name. No one else can use it.
So anyway, Lloyd, his mother was part of this clandestine program. And he was too, because his mother was pregnant with him at the time of these experiments.
What?
They were doing this shit to a pregnant woman.
In Canada?
Did they know?
In Canada.
Did they know she was pregnant?
Yeah.
What?
So-
Well, yeah, they're at a
What
hospital.
year was it?
1960.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's so. This is another quote from the Sun. It's crazy.
Different times.
I don't think it was fair for them to do that to me. Do that on me as a fetus.
Now, did this have prolonged effects on him?
So they didn't specifically talk about that. More about the mother. The mother did have some serious long-term. We get into that down here. But she literally had to. The whole point was to basically reprogram somebody, wipe out all of their previous memories and emotions and shit, and then reprogram them how you want. So
I've seen this movie.
I'll touch on that in a second. So just let me get through this. So
Almost everyone I can say I've seen this movie.
So Canada.
I'm gonna call that the name of the episode. I've seen this movie.
So the Canadian government was directly involved in this, if not more so involved than the CIA. Canada has never provided a list of the victims of the experiments that took place between 1943 and 1964. No government has ever admitted liability, let alone apologized.
Oh no, what?
Despite the fact that part of the experiments in Montreal were funded by the CIA, but also directly funded by the Canadian government. This gets even crazier. It ties into Guantanamo Bay. So
Every time it gets crazier. I'm in too deep.
So Cameron's reputation came to the attention. So Cameron, the psychologist in charge of all this, came to the attention of the CIA. They were interested in his psychiatric research that involved extreme sensory deprivation, drugs, and an intense repetition of recorded messages.
What? Yeah, like total brainwash and shit.
Yeah.
I've seen this movie.
The numbers, Mason. What do the numbers mean?
3 years after MK Ultra was started by the CIA, they approached Cameron through the Society of the Investigation of Human Ecology, which was a front organization. They gave Cameron $60,000 which is equivalent to $500,000 today. That's not including the money of the Canadian government. I don't have numbers for that.
So here's where I'm sitting right now is that I think it's totally plausible that they attempted to I believe that they did those things to try to attempt to brainwash people, but I don't think they actually achieved brainwashing
Okay, so
people.
let's get into that then.
Turn them into fucking assassins and shit.
So not that, but like that wasn't the goal.
Well,
right?
what's
That
the goal?
wasn't
What's the goal of having a completely brainwashed person if not to kill somebody?
The goal is to basically be able to like take somebody that was ideologically opposed to them and make them basically spill their guts to them, like sodium pentothal type shit. So
yeah, that's crazy.
So
Truth serum.
So the psychologist, the one that they're paying, believed that breaking down a patient's mind to a childlike state through drugs and electroshock therapy would allow him to work from a clean slate to effectively reprogram patients.
And to kill.
Part of the another part of it too is they would play like
I need to smoke.
They would play music to them, or they would play like recorded audio to them for like 24 hours
just
straight
repeated over and over
while they were in a medically induced coma.
Yeah.
You ever heard like when someone's in a coma, if you like play music to them or like stuff that they recognize with, they might wake up.
Yeah,
it's like the opposite of that. They're like trying to fuck you up even more by playing shit while you're in the coma.
That's
they put
crazy.
You in. So we're almost at the end here. So at the end of this guy's mother's time there, they say in the medical record she was considered completely depatterned. She was incontinent, mute, and had trouble swallowing. That's crazy to do that to a pregnant woman.
Yeah, what? Now, is he okay when he was born? Obviously, if he's...
It says that she didn't even recognize his father when he came to get her from the asylum.
What?
Duh.
So what do we think? Do we think conspiracy theory or not?
Fact.
It happened for sure. Like this is like we get into it even more. Like the Canadian government like paid them off, but wouldn't acknowledge any part of it. Same with the CIA.
Oh my god!
It's all settled out of court.
Of course, well, they obviously were involved. Then nobody just settles out of here. Sign this non-disclosure.
So here's the part where it gets a little bit more conspiracy-y than it already is.
Okay.
So you guys know about the black site prisons that the CIA has, Guantanamo Bay and all that.
Yeah.
So do you remember the term enhanced interrogation?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that came. So basically, there's this. What's his name? Abu.
Now is that where they like mentally like coerce you? Like, you know what I mean? Or is this? Are we talking about torture?
This is the crazy thing. Enhanced interrogation is there's a lot of information here, but I'll summarize it. It boils down to them basically repurposing this guy's MK Ultra experiments. So they hired two scientists or two psychiatrists, paid them $80 million to come up with the enhanced interrogation technique. But the conspiracy is that they were just planning on using this old school MK Ultra stuff, and they brought those two psychiatrists in as like scapegoats to be like, oh no, we're just doing what these guys said to do. But really, they were, because if you look at it,
telling what these guys
listen. If you look at it, the stuff that they were doing to the people in Guantanamo Bay, like that got all that media attention as being unethical, is literally the exact techniques that they used in the MK Ultra experiment.
And it just basically it's basically the parent of MK or the child of MK Ultra.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So I'm gonna say no.
Canada.
Hey, she's all right. She makes mistakes like everybody.
Who, Canada?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk about another one?
No, I don't.
Canceling the Evro Arrow.
The what? Yeah, that sucks.
That's actually a really good conspiracy. I want to get into that.
We'll talk about that the next time. Okay, so what do you guys think? No tinfoil hats?
That one?
No, I think it's pretty fact.
No, it definitely happened. 100%.
Yeah,
There's
like-
no arguing it happened.
Okay, I think we presented some pretty plausible information. So okay, and then the last one we're gonna do is Project Sunshine. It sounds like it will be cool, but it's a conspiracy theory, so I probably know that it's not going to be that great.
This one actually really bothered me.
Okay, so this is the one, and we're not going to get too deep into this because this one that Griffin had a panic attack reading and talking about, but this is where he got in too deep. So I mean, it's not for the faint of heart, I'm sure. What do you got?
So I'll start off with a quote.
Do it in a cool voice.
So this one's 1955. I guess I could do the old time.
It's the 1950s.
1955. Then AEC, Atomic Energy Commission Commissioner Dr. Willard Libby said that there was insufficient data regarding the effects of fallout due to the lack of human samples. Okay, this is kind of a serious topic, so I don't want to do it with a silly voice. So,
Okay, go ahead. That was enough to make me happy.
So
Thank you.
he says that
going.
specifically samples taken from children. So this is a direct quote from this guy who's in charge of the Atomic Energy Commission.
Okay.
I don't know how to get them, but I do say that it is a matter of prime importance to get them, and particularly in the young age group. So human samples are often of prime importance, and if anybody knows how to do a good job of body snatching, they'll really be serving their country.
Oh my
and
God.
This is the AEC, Atomic Energy Commissioner, saying this. This led to over 1,500 samples being gathered. Cadavers, most of the cadavers were babies and young children.
Jesus.
Taken from countries from Australia to Europe without their parents' consent or knowledge.
Really? So why is the Atomic Electric Commission or whatever? Why are they kidnapping all these kids?
So they wanted to put
For
their
what reason?
body parts in front of the nuclear bomb test to see what the effect of the atomic radiation was on
a human body?
babies and children. So they were using.
Oh my
They were
God,
already doing
really?
they were already doing this openly with adults, and they even subjected live U.S. military personnel to the radiation.
So what were they were putting?
and
But
just
before the U.S.
citizens, you could go to Vegas and watch nuke tests. You drive out into the desert, and they'd be dropping nukes.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like when they were publicly doing it with bodies, like would it be like criminals or like already dead people?
Oh, they're soldiers. Usually.
Yeah, that's fucked.
And like live soldiers sometimes too. Like a lot of them got cancer from being
for
exposed to
sure,
the
for
radiation.
sure. So what? Okay, so
But this
so-
one actually, I don't want to read some of these because it's
Yeah,
very,
yeah.
very gruesome.
Let's not get
but
deep
like,
into this.
It's incredibly,
I don't want to end on a sad note.
yeah, it's incredibly messed up that they were. And again, this is something that I'd
It's
never.
sad. I'm gonna be
Why
a
did
dad.
you put Project Sunshine last then?
I didn't know what it was. I didn't read it. It's Project Sunshine. It sounds nice.
Yeah, does it?
Does it now?
No, it doesn't now. But I'm gonna be a dad soon. Okay.
Anything
I
with
don't-
project,
I don't want to hear about the
operation.
government. So what do you guys think? Is that real then? The government actually
Again,
kidnap kids and
This is one that was
put them in front of nuclear blast?
This was a conspiracy for a long time because there was parents from all over the world that
Yeah,
noticed
for
that
sure.
their kids were, when they were like in the casket, were like missing body parts, or they didn't know what happened to them, and that for years they were like,
That's
they're
crazy.
like, what the hell happened? And it was eventually through like declassified information and shit. It
See,
was
I can
proven
see
to
when
be
you're-
true. So it did absolutely happen, 100%.
See, I can see when you're super high and you get down that rabbit hole. That could be terrifying. Yeah, fuck those guys. Oh my God, that's crazy. So what do you?
But it makes you think too. Like, what are they doing now?
We gave out a lot of tinfoil hats today, right?
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
The Moscow bombing is an interesting one to talk about, but I'm honestly scared that we'll end up not alive.
We can't get into that because of Putin.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we'll definitely get shut down.
Hi, Vlad.
Well, it would definitely be poisoning. 100%.
Okay, so I guess what final notes or word what do we want to finally say about conspiracy theories? What do we think,
Don't
guys?
dig too deep, because holy shite.
Don't dig too deep. But if life's a garden, dig it, right?
I definitely see the allure.
Is that copyrighted? That's
I don't know.
I hope
Fucking
not.
stick the
You know what I
dope in
mean?
it.
Like, I see the allure. Like, I see why people get so caught up in them, especially when
Yeah.
there's those grains of truth where there's no explanation. It just like
Your brain just gets going.
Remember
Right?
the
Yeah.
first time you watched Zeitgeist in like grade
Yeah.
Yeah.
nine? You're like,
Yeah.
That's a deep cut. That's a deep cut.
Well, hopefully we've inspired some other people to expand their paradigms and explore the vast regions of the universe in their minds.
Yes.
Science and space and power. And, yes, quite.
Thank you for tuning in to Bobchat.
That's all for this evening.
This has
we'll
been
be back next week.
special broadcast of the
Just
BC
as in today,
BC
Bobchat is the hottest
BCP.
podcast on the
The
internet of
BCP.
2021. All the people are raving for Bobchat.
You've been listening to the BCP Bobchat Podcast.
Channel 103.5. I don't
Bye,
know.
internet.
We'll see you next time, folks. It's Bobchat Baby. Do you guys want to say that once?
Bobchat Baby.
It's Bob.
Can we try doing it like a quartet, like a three?
Okay.
It's Bobchat Baby.
Perfect.
Smoke brisket, not meth.